Hello children. As we are continuing the nationalism in Europe, the rise of nationalism in Europe, the first unit. In this unit, we are going to cover these are the part. The French Revolution and the idea of nationalism, which we have already studied. The making of nationalism in Europe, the age of revolution between 1830 to 1848, the making of Germany and Italy, which is also called as the German unification and the Italy unification, the strange case of Britain, and similarly visualization the nation and nationalism and imperialism. These all are the part we are going to complete in this unit. As we have already studied the French Revolution and the idea of nation, let us recap the points what we have studied. Yes, children, we have started our chapter with this picture. I hope you have remembered the picture. Yes, this is the picture drawn by Frederick Soroy, 1848, in the name of Democratic and Social Republic. This is a picture of his 4 series, which is popularly called as the Utopian. Out of the Utopian series, this is one of that. In this picture, he visualized France as a nation in which there is a democracy, there is a republic and socialistic system by abolishing the monarchy system. We know, we read already. And in this picture and in this part of French Revolution and the idea of nation, what we read, let us recap. Yes, children, we have already studied the following ideas of emerged France as a nation. As we know, the French Revolution abolished the monarchism and it provided the greatest idea to the world, which was popularly called as the liberty, equality and fraternity. The French Revolution had a great contribution to the world, is none other than the 3 factors: liberty, equality and fraternity. I hope you know these words in our constitution also. In the preamble of Indian constitution, we have also implemented these words. Let us recap how did France became the national state, nationalism, nation state. France people, first of all, they achieved this idea by this emergence of 2 factors. One is la patrie. I hope you know this, we read already. La patrie, the father nation, and les citoyens, the citizen. Earlier, the common people, they didn't have this idea of fatherland and the feeling of citizen. But this is the French Revolution which able to get this idea. Secondly, they able to create their own national flag which replaced the royal standard. Third, they able to establish a government which is centralized administration, which was put and formulated the uniform law, equal law for all. Fourthly, a state general was replaced by the National Assembly. We can say the 3 estate was abolished and France ruled by the National Assembly. Similarly, the common people of France, they created uniform system in which the standard weightage and the measurement were adopted. Similarly, one more important was none other than the common people, they have created a program or one organization consist of all the common people, artisan, peasant, worker, labor, which was popularly called as the Jacobin Club. Yes, children, this is the feeling of nationalism. Under the imperialism, they didn't have these all ideas. Louis XIV, Louis XV, Louis XVI, Louis XVII. These people never bother about these all ideas. But it was 1789. The common people of France, they revolted themselves and they achieved all these achievements. And in 1791, they formulated their own constitution. As a result, that was popularly called as the France became the Republic. These all are the incident you might have read earlier. And today we are going to discuss after the French Revolution what happened. Yes, children, our point of discussion today is none other than another part which we are going to deal today is none other than after French Revolution. What was the achievement in France? Yes, 1791, France created its own constitution and France became republic. After 1791 to 1804 AD, France ruled by the Estate General. Abolish and National Assembly consist of two parties. Now, in this chapter, we are going to discuss about a great personality, and he was none other than the great Napoleon Bonaparte. Yes, children, today we are going to read about the great national leader of France, not only France, even in Europe, none other than Napoleon Bonaparte. Napoleon, if you'll see, was a man of humble origin, born in 15th August 1769. 15th August 1769 in a poor lawyer family in Ajaccio in the island of Corsica. According to Napoleon, one thing I can say, man of humble origin who rose into power by his extraordinary power, brave, courage, and with the strength of his soul, and he able to carry out the crown while it was lying under the ground. Yes, children, that was the Napoleon. He completed his education in France in a military school. At the age of 16, merely at the age of 16, in 1785, he was appointed as a second lieutenant, a common man who rose into power by dint of his courage, ability, and started his career as a second lieutenant. He was a common man. He studied as like history, geography, and these are the mathematics are the common subject. He used to write letter to his mother, I have no friend except books. He was greatly influenced by the French philosopher Rousseau, because once he said that had there been no Rousseau, there would have been no Napoleon. Even Rousseau had a great faith on this Napoleon, because once Rousseau said that this small island of Corsica will be one day astonish the Europe. Listen, children, what Rousseau said about Napoleon. This little island where Napoleon born, Corsica, will one day astonish the Europe. Exactly the same thing happened. This small person, small island became world famous, and today the history of world is 19th century history of world is none other than the history of one nation, one incident, one person. Incident was the French Revolution, nation was the France, and person was none other than Napoleon Bonaparte. After 1789, whatever the incident occurred in France or the Europe, or even we can say the world, directly or indirectly related to Napoleon Bonaparte. Then why? What is this great personality? As we know that he was born in a small family, started his career as a second lieutenant, became the brigadier, even Rousseau, even the Robespierre, everyone praised Napoleon. And later on, in 1789, he became the chief of army. Being the chief of army, he wanted to bring a great change. He visited several nations. He fought number of war. But these all are not the credit or feather of his cap. Once Napoleon told that my real glory is not my having won of 40 battle. Listen once again. My real glory is not my own of 40 battle. What will never affect my endure is none other than my civil code. Yes, children, we are going to read about Napoleon's civil code. What do you mean by civil code? Napoleon had a great personality. He know the problem of the common people. Some critics they say that Napoleon destroyed the democracy. Yes, do you agree or not? Because the common people who created France as a republic in 1791, this Napoleon declared himself as the emperor. By declaring himself as the emperor, he once again made France as a monarchical system which was disliked by the common people. That's why we can say, no doubt, Napoleon destroyed the democracy in France, but the administration what he implemented had a great contribution, and he had incorporated revolutionary principles in order to make the whole system more rational and efficient. That's why Napoleon greatly told that the world will recognize me not because of my 40 wars but because of my civil code. And what is this civil code? This is the Napoleon, man of humble origin. He knows the problem of the people. So let us discuss the civil code point wise. Point number 1. First of all, the greatest achievement or the greatest contribution of Napoleon's civil code was none other than he abolished the privilege on birth. Point number 1. You can see this point number 1. Napoleon completely did away with the privilege of the birth based on, because as we know in France there was the three estate. He abolished the three estate. He made all people equal. As a result, there is no privilege for common people on birth. Everyone now considered as the citizen of France. He established the equality before the law. Everyone. No discrimination on the people based upon birth. Point number 2. Point number 3, we can say he provided right to property. Earlier, the common people of France had no right to property. Every property was considered as a national property. But now, for the first time, Napoleon provided common people to possess the property, which was popularly called as a right to property. This civil code also provided equal to all the region. He brought entire Europe under his control, French control. Similarly, another greatest contribution was none other than he simplified the administration system. There was different type of feudal lords. He abolished the feudal lorddom, and he provided a freedom to the peasant from the serfdom. Serfdom, it was a similar system in India as like Jamindar. In France, under the monarchism, there was a system of feudalism. Napoleon abolished that. He provided independence to the peasants and he provided them equal treatment. Similarly, the peasant has to pay number of taxes. He abolished those taxes. Another greatest contribution of Napoleon's civil code was none other than in towns too there was a system called guild system who had monopoly over single commodity. He also removed the guild system in Europe. He abolished the transport and communication system. He provided better improvement communication and transport system. He provided good condition to the peasants, artisans, workers, and new business people were flourished and they were found freedom. These are the greatest contribution, the need, the cry of the French people who wanted these all things from a ruler. But unfortunately, they were unable to get it, and this was the Napoleon who provided them. Not only that, children, in France, by that time, there was no standard measurement. He standardized the measurement of the goods. In particularly, he began to realize the unification of law, standardize the weight and measurement, and he also established a common national currency. He provided facility to movement of the exchange the goods from one part to another. These are the things, these are the achievements, these are the simplification rules implemented by Napoleon. Due to that, today we are reading about the great personality. Of course, he has destroyed the democracy. The common people didn't like the democracy, didn't like the monarchism. They wanted the democracy or republic. Napoleon declared himself as a emperor. By declaring himself as a emperor 1804, he destroyed democracy. But the civil law, civil codes, rules, regulations, what he implemented, those are the birth cry of the common people. He provided them. That's why people like Napoleon. He was so popular that during that time, whenever his army and his people visited wherever, they were greatly invited. For example, the areas he conquered reached the local population of France. They initially invited very enthusiastically. For example, Holland, Switzerland, Brussels, Mainz, Milan, Warsaw. In these places, French army were welcomed as a great leader, and they believe that this is the person who can provide them freedom, equality. In spite of all these achievements, Napoleon had some sort of drawbacks in his civil code. As he has to meet with several wars, he increased the taxes. Number one, his drawback, problems of his civil code. Number one, increase taxation. Second drawback is none other than he implemented the compulsory military training, which is popularly called as a conscription. First one, he increased the taxation. Second one, he increased the taxation. He increased the more tax because of to meet the taxation. Second one is the conscription, and he also took the freedom of the press, which is called as a censorship. Due to all these things, he faced a little bit opposition from the people. Along with that, as he destroyed the democracy and imbalanced the Europe, to bring balance in Europe, to make a equal power in Europe, few of the countries which were popularly called as praise countries, P-R-A-S-E, praise, P-R-A-S-E, praise country, Prussia, Russia, Austria, Sweden and England. These are the five countries, praise countries, P-R-A-S-C. They gathered, they made a coalition and they declared war against Napoleon in 1813. In 1813, Napoleon met with these people, and that was popularly called as the Battle of Nation. In this Battle of Nation, they met Battle of Nation, which is also called as the Leipzig and Dresden. This battle is also called as the Leipzig 1813 to 1814. Leipzig and Dresden. He met the battle. In this battle, he lost. Then he was sent to Elba by paying 2.5 million franc. He didn't stay there, children. Though he was declared as an emperor and sent to Elba. Elba, you can get here, Elba, nearby France, a small island, Elba. He was sent to there, but he returned back from Elba. Again, he ruled the country for few years. Again, this praise country, P-R-A-S-C, Prussia, Russia, Austria and Sweden and England, once again they made one group and they declared war against Napoleon. This time Napoleon met first France 1815. As soon he came from that soldier, he began to rule. Finally, this phrase country they declared war against Napoleon, and this time the war was not at Dresden or Leipzig, but this time the war is at Waterloo, which was popularly called as the Battle of Waterloo, 1815. In this Battle of Waterloo, Napoleon defeated. He was sent back to Saint Helena, a island nearby Africa. There he died in 1821. This is Napoleon, children, who had a great contribution, man of humble origin, rose into power by dint of his courage, ability, and with the strength of sword. And he picked up the crown. As we know the crown in the Frederick Soros picture, we know that. See here the crown that was under the. This is the crown. In this crown, in this condition, he picked up the crown and he declared himself as the emperor. And finally, he defeated in the Battle of Waterloo. So that's why once Napoleon told, though I destroyed the democracy, but I provided a better administration to the common people of France. Here you can see the picture of Napoleon. See, this is the last day of Napoleon. Wherever he is moving, from his bag, some papers are lying down, you see. These all are the land he lost in the war. Finally, he died in 1821. This is the great chapter. And here we may get two questions, children. One is 3-mark question, another is 5-mark question. Direct question for 3 mark, write a short note on the civil code of Napoleon, that 11 to 12 points positive and 3 points negative you have to write as it is in the textbook. Another question they may ask, no doubt Napoleon destroyed the democracy in France, but his administrative field he had incorporated revolutionary principles. Justify. This is for 5 mark. So these are the two questions for you, children. Read the textbook, page number 6 and 7. Gather the information what I gave, extra information. Write a note, his introduction, his downfall, and the civil code for 5 mark. Only civil code for 3 mark. I hope you understood. Thank you.